Welcome to Gen Z Hoops, the Gen Z basketball, coaching, and sports business show.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Gen Z Hoops podcast. Today, I'm joined by the assistant coach of the Washington Mystics, Miss Barbara Turner. Coach Turner, how you doing today, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity and coming on the show today.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
So I like to jump into our little conversation here. Can you talk a little bit about your connection to the game of basketball and where it first inspired, especially growing up in Cleveland?
Yeah, definitely inspired from growing up in Cleveland. It started with one-on-one games in the backyard with my older brother, and then it became two-on-two games with our friends that lived in our neighborhood, and then everything just took off from there.
Were you a big like Cavs fan growing up or anything like that?
Huge Cavs fan. Larry Nance was my favorite player. That's literally the reason why majority of my career I wore the number 22.
Wow. I thought it was pretty cool. I didn't get to watch him play, but I saw like Larry Nance Jr. in the dunk contest when he
Uh-huh.
like his dad's
Yep.
like old fit. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
amazing. Man, he had some
That
like
was dope.
insane dunks in his career though, Larry Nance.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He was phenomenal.
Did you ever try and like get up like that in the backyard when you be shooting around out
All
there?
the time. All the time. Oh, my brother and everything.
What do you think about LeBron though? What's your
Well,
thoughts on LeBron and his influence in the state of Ohio?
I mean, obviously he is who he is. In my opinion, the greatest player to ever play this game. So
Let's go.
his influence and his impact is huge, especially throughout Northeast Ohio, which is the area that we're from.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that little stray right there. I had to like shout my guy. I got his poster back there, man. That's my hero.
I feel it. I feel it. No problem.
So let's talk about your high school career. How did your time at East Technical High School, where you actually became a McDonald's All-American, like kind of like shape the player you became later on in your career?
It definitely helped me in terms of my toughness, because we played in the Senate League, which to me was the most physical league in our area in our district. Um, but I chose East Tech for a reason. I chose it with a purpose. I had the opportunity to go to any school in the city of Cleveland, academically and athletically, but East Tech was special to me. One, because my high school coach was there and I had known him for a long time, but two, because it was in an area where not a lot of people find success, and not a lot of people are able to reach where I'm at today. So I wanted to be a positive figure for that area in Cleveland, and show people that it doesn't matter where you go or where you're from, you can get to wherever you want to get to as long as you strive to be great.
What other schools were you looking at?
So I was recruited by Trinity at the time. This was before their head coach moved over to Regina. But I could have went there. I could have went to Shaker Heights. Pretty much all the schools, Cleveland Heights. I could have went to any of those schools. But I chose East Tech for a reason.
So when you think about like your upbringing and like your earlier coaches on like mentors like that, what lessons like kind of stayed with you from those figures throughout your playing and now your coaching career?
I say this to my players all the time, and I live this way. How you do anything is how you do everything.
Mhm.
So if you are cutting corners in some kind of way or fashion, then it's going to show up in some other way. So I've always prided myself on making sure I did things the right way, and making sure that I was always prepared and doing everything I could to reach my goals.
One thing that I've told this story like before many times on the show, but I had like this trainer, Coach T back in the day. Now he coaches down in North Carolina for like LaMelo Ball's like program down there. But he used to come in and with like a shirt that says like it was like D1, D2, D3, JUCO, NEIA, who's like they're all like college basketball. Like don't look down on that, no matter like what level you
Hmm.
play. And then he always used to tell us that you need to work twice as hard to be half as good as like some other guy. So now that I play like college basketball, it like really does stick with me like that. So it's like, yeah, you can go out and have fun and all that stuff, but you need to like focus on your craft and like actually get in the gym and like handle your business at the end of the day. So I can connect to you on that note.
No, definitely, 100%. I'm a firm believer in all that you just said.
Mhm. What? So let's talk the college recruiting process. Well, what was your experience with it?
Um, I think it was a phenomenal experience. Like I said, just coming from the high school that I was at the time it was, and still now it's in one of the more impoverished areas in the city of Cleveland. And to see some of the now Hall of Fame coaches walk through the hallways, and be there to see me and visit me and want me to get to attend their university, it was like a surreal moment. It was literally everything I set out to do. And just I have a picture when I was in my senior year of high school, and I had a trunk full of letters from coaches, and we had like bags and a
Wow.
big chest full of letters. So just remembering all of that and seeing that, like it literally was like everything that I dreamed of.
So you did end up going to UConn. I'll get into your career at UConn a little more, but what was like, when people post like their final five or top three, like what schools besides UConn were in that like top five or top three?
My top five was UConn, Southern Cal, so USC,
Mhm.
Temple, North Carolina, and Rutgers.
So ultimately, what separated UConn from those schools?
I mean, at the time, I wanted to be a national champion, and I wanted to be on a platform that pretty much spoke to the spaces I was trying to elevate to in the game of basketball. And I knew UConn was at the pinnacle at the time, and they checked all those boxes, so it was an easy decision once I got the offer.
What was like your welcome to like college moment? You know how they have like welcome to the pro moment, but like
hmm
high school, what was the transition like basically ultimately from high school basketball to college basketball for you?
My welcome to college moment was in the first week of our summer workouts. We were out on the football field with our strength coach, Andrea Hootie. Shout out to Hootie. Um, and we were running stadium steps, and we had to like carry sandbags up the stadium. And I went up once, came back down, and I went straight to my dorm. I didn't finish the workout because it was insane. And I called my mom, and I was like, I can't do this. I'm coming home. You know.
Did the coach find out or anything like that?
Of course, they went looking for it. They didn't know where I went. They were trying to figure out where I went and what happened, but it was just, man, I just didn't know it would be that hard and that crazy.
That's insane. My welcome to college moment. So I was like, so like in like in high school, if you play like the 3 or 4, you're like a lanky wing, but like you don't
hmm
have like the meat on your bones, to like bang with the
Right.
guys down low. I was getting post up after post up, boom, boom, guys backing me down and stuff like that. My first week, and I was like, man, I don't know if I'm like cut out for this or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, those calls with your mom, they always like hit different after a
They
little
hit
bit of
different.
failure.
I was ready to come home.
My mom hit me with the man, figure it out, man. She hit me with one
hmm
of those. Like, I don't know. What did your mom say to you? Figure it out as well?
You better figure it out. We just got you up there. I hadn't been there more than a week. And we drove all the way from Cleveland, so they were like, figure it out.
What was your freshman year like, your rookie season like in for the Huskies?
It was full of ups and downs. First of all, I started my freshman year injured. I had just came off of having surgery in August, and I had just got cleared to play sometime right before our first game. So it was challenging in that aspect. And then just trying to navigate the college life and do things the way that Gino wanted to do it, kind of like break you down and build you up type of thing. And I had to adjust to that. But by the end of it, it was great because I started the final six games and we won a national championship.
There we go. So what was it like that tournament run? Take me through the ups and downs of that tournament run.
Honestly, it didn't feel like we were as good as we were. Actually, I didn't realize it until we was undefeated all the way until the Big East championship game, and that's when it hit me. And then we lost that game to Villanova right before the tournament. So like, it still didn't hit me that we were that good. And then once the tournament started and we had our rotation set and stuff like that, and then I understood it more.
That was in 2003, correct? The first one.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So
2000.
so
Yep.
so now you guys won in 2003
2002. I'm
or
sorry. Well,
2002.
2002, 2003.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that like
Mm-hmm.
2002, 2003 season. So
Yep.
now that you
Yep.
were a national champion in that, what was that off season like? Like, you know how sometimes people win a championship and they get like complacent sometimes, but what was your
Mm-hmm.
mindset
Mm-hmm.
going into that off season?
It was even tougher, because obviously I wanted to maintain my starting position, and at UConn, there's All-Americans coming in every year. So it was more so like just turn your hard hat on and stay focused and try to go do it again.
And and you guys actually did go do it again. But
Yeah.
did you guys ever hit that sort of wall where it's like, I know the Denver Nuggets in the NBA, they alluded to this last season where it's like you go from being the hunter to now the hunted, kind of when they
Mm-hmm.
were facing like a lot of lulls because of it. And our team did as
Mm-hmm.
well this year. Did you guys ever face like hit that kind of wall where it's like you needed some adversity? You hit a lot of adversity, I mean.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, in my sophomore year, we lost 4 games. I know that sounds crazy to say, but we took some lumps in that sophomore year that we needed to take just to kind of keep us humble and help us understand that we're still not where we need to be to go ahead and repeat and win the championship again.
So if you would have had to take w one title run over the other, which one would it be?
I would say 2004. It was more impactful for me. I was in a different role than I was in my freshman year, and I was able to have some like big games during that tournament run, to help us, help propel us to some big wins along the way. I think the one that stands out in my mind is the Penn State game, where I played really, really well. So I think that one hit a little different for me just from an individual standpoint, knowing that I was a big part to us winning it.
I, this might be a little off topic or from from the playing side of things, but was there ever like, did you ever have like some sort of like superstition or like weird ritual that you would do like before games or something like that? Like something you had to do?
Um, Something I had to do before games. I had to go sock, sock, shoe, shoe when it came to putting my socks and shoes on for the game. And I listened to my playlist in the same order every game.
What's your favorite music, if I might ask?
I mean, at the time it was Jay-Z.
Okay,
So yeah, so I was like Blueprint One, Blueprint Two,
I like that.
Dead Presidents, like all that run.
I'm like a country music guy, so I'll be listening to like Morgan Wallen, Luke Combs, like those guys.
Nice.
Yeah,
I know of them. I know of them for sure.
yeah.
I know of some of their music.
You gotta listen to that new song. There's a new one, I Ain't Coming Back. It just dropped the other day with
It's
Post Malone.
nice.
You heard it?
Nah, I have not heard it.
You gotta listen to it. It's really good.
All right. Got you, got you.
That's one of my superstitions, but you're gonna laugh at this one. I like have to eat like some like sort of junk food before the game. I
Oh
like
wow.
I like sent one of my coaches to like the vending machine this season. Came up with like a
Mm,
huge cookie like this, and the coach was like going through our coach was going through the game plan. I'm like sitting there like, you know how Josh Hart would be eating in like the post game conferences last year.
yeah.
You just hear like the crumbling and the chewing. Yeah, it was like
Uh-huh.
looking at you like what's this idiot doing?
Right.
Yeah. So in your senior season, you earned all Big East first team honors and led UConn to the 2006 Big East tournament title. So this season you took more of like a leadership role, especially being a senior. How did you shape like into a leader that season? That's what I want to know.
Um, Being honest, just taking away from the experiences that I had my junior year, and really having a focus to improve on some things as far as coming in better shape, um, coming in understanding, fully understanding what it takes to be a championship level team, and that pretty much helped build everything else for me.
You mentioned being a championship level team. Do you ever think about how it's like you can be a championship team one year, but like you know, UConn is like a championship program, but there is like a distinct like definition between the two. I know my coach would talk about it a lot. He's saying we want to be like a championship program, like our hockey team here. They won like three straight national championships.
Mhm.
What was that? What was it like to be in such like a winning culture when you look back at it from like all 4 years?
It was a ton of pressure, if you want me to be completely honest, because you were held to a certain standard and you pretty much had to live up to that and you had to show up every day and not really have bad days because a loss for us was like the end of the world in women's college basketball at the time. So it was a lot of pressure, but it's really what you sign up for when you go to UConn. Like you're striving to be excellent and be the best.
And I know your Huskies, they just won that national championship. How was that feeling? How did that feel?
I mean, I was happy for him. I'm a big Sarah Strong fan. Been a fan of her since she was in high school. So, just being able to follow her in her freshman year and see all the great things she was able to do, was really, really good. And then, just of course, them persevering through a season where not many believed that they could do it and coming out with a championship. That was fun to watch.
So let's move on to your WNBA career. Take me through it. Your senior in college. What at what point were you like, okay, like I want to go try and be in the WNBA?
I'm not gonna lie, my tournament run in my senior year of my in college was when I knew that I would have an opportunity to play at the next level. And then we had like an all-American game, and then at the time we had like a little pre-draft camp, and I was most valuable player of the pre-draft camp. So that's pretty much when I knew I would have an opportunity to play in the WNBA.
What was the whole like pre-draft process like? All the workouts, interviews. Can you take me through like that process right there?
We didn't have any workouts, but they had like all the top college players that wasn't in the Final Four that year
Yep.
in a camp. So you pretty much go through drills and interview with some organizations and coaches, and then you have some live play so they can like evaluate you against the other top talent. So it was good. That was pretty much the process. It was only a 2-day thing.
Was there like one distinct team that you like really wanted to go to, like prior to getting
No,
drafted?
no, honestly, I just wanted to be a first round draft pick. That was a dream of mine. And I felt like I put myself in a position to be one based on again that run and then how I showed up at the All American game in the pre-draft camp. But prior to that, I wasn't on many draft boards as higher than the second round pick. So I just wanted to be a first round pick.
So, and you did just that. You were selected 11th by the Seattle Storm in the in
Mhm.
the 2006 draft. How did that feel like to get drafted?
It was amazing. My entire family was there. Everything that runs in your mind is where you came from and how you were able to do something great for the city and the area that you were in. So that's pretty much the feeling that I had. I was just proud.
And you played with Sue Bird, correct?
I did not. Oh yeah, I played with Sue my freshman year, my rookie year. Yes.
How what was it? What was she like as a teammate?
Sue was a great teammate, great leader. It was no secret to me that she was a multiple time champion. She just does things the right way and, pretty much uplifts people and hold them accountable at the same time. So it was great playing with Sue.
Yeah, I had to ask you about that for a little because I believe she is from Long Island, not too far away from like where I live
Hmm.
in Queens. So yeah, I had to like kind of find out about that right there. But you
Hmm.
you also played for several other WNBA teams, including the Houston Comets and Connecticut Sun. Can you talk if they come to mind at all, what were some like career highlights or like your proudest moments during your time in the league?
Um, Career highlights. I would say if I had to be honest, my first WNBA basket. Um, I think that was just a moment again of reflection and just understanding how far I've really come and how much of a dream come true it is. And then probably just my first year in Connecticut with the Sun. That was my best season in the W. I feel like I had really hit that point of really developing into a wing, transitioning from the post position. So I would just say that whole season for me was a highlight.
So you mentioned your first WNBA basket. Do you recall the entire play at all?
I want to say it was a post up, quick spin, drop step baseline, and I don't remember the opponent if I'm being completely honest. But I remember the move, and I kind of like got bumped, and I was like fired up, so
Yeah,
it
there we
was cool.
go.
It was cool.
So after retiring from playing, what motivated you to step into this coaching role and be more of a mentor?
Well, if you ask any of my coaches, I was always one to speak up. Because I study the game a lot and consider myself like a high IQ basketball player. And I had started to train players toward the end of my career in my off seasons back in Houston. And I just developed a passion for it. And it started off with player development, but then once I got my first coaching opportunity, I fell in love with both. So I had the luxury to be able to do both, the best of both worlds as a coach, and still watch a ton of basketball and study it.
So you actually worked in player development for the Houston Rockets and the Atlanta Dream as well. So what is basically your player development philosophy or when developing talent?
When developing talent,
Mhm.
I think you really got to understand the person first because a lot of the way people are kind of reflects how they play. And I think then just going from that standpoint, understanding their strengths and weaknesses, having an eye for understanding how to correct things in terms of shooting or body position and foot position, all those different things. So I think getting to know the person first because player development is not only on the court, it's off the court as well. And then, obviously figuring out how to get them better, what they need to get better at.
So I believe when you worked with the Rockets, was that Jalen Green's rookie year or was that his sophomore season? His rookie.
Yeah, that was Jalen and Alpern Sengun's rookie season.
So what was it like working with them and now seeing them where they are now as the number two seed in the Western Conference?
I mean, I could see it then for the both of them. Obviously, they were really, really young and they had a young core at the time. So, they didn't really have vet leadership. They had to figure out a lot of stuff on their own. Um, and I could see the talent and see the potential. I knew it would take time for the game to slow down for them and to get them to the peak of where they could be. And to me, they haven't even scratched the surface.
When you would like write up a workout for Jalen Green, what would you really make him work on?
You stick to the basics and the fundamentals, finishing in the paint. With and without contact, different finishes, being a consistent shooter just in terms of mechanics, standing your shot, holding your elbow high, all those things. So that's pretty much it. You don't really get too fancy with it when you're talking about development because you got to make sure everything from the foundation is right.
So recently you just got a new position as the assistant coach for the Washington Mystics. What do you think you bring to the table from an experience standpoint as a coach and as a former player to the Mystics now?
Um, I mean, I just think that I just bring a passion and an understanding for how to develop and an understanding for what a winning culture looks like. I also understand that there are things that's bigger than the game. So, you have to bring joy within that environment. And that's something that I always try to bring in every place that I go. So I think that pretty much sums up what I have to offer.
So in this new chapter with the Mystics, what are your goals basically?
My goals is to be a part of the process. Right now we're a process-oriented team, and we're trying to develop some young talent while still developing our veterans and putting us all in a position to become a championship team again. So I just look forward to that.
Where do you, now that you're an assistant coach in the WNBA, do you ever aspire to be a head coach one day?
I do aspire to be a head coach. I mean, coming into this, that was a part of my thought process was, to grind my way to be a head coach. But to me, it's not a hurry. I feel like everything happens for a reason and the right opportunity will present itself. Right now, I'm just grind oriented and I want to continue to develop and become better at my craft.
I think before when we were scheduling this interview, you told me that training camp actually starts tomorrow, correct?
Yes, yes.
So
Mhm.
what is a typical WNBA training camp look like?
Um, it's pretty much developing your team identity. A lot of drills to kind of show your playing style on both ends of the floor. It's highly competitive because you have people that are in camp and they're trying to make the team or establish their position on the team. So that's pretty much what you can sum it up as, just developing a team identity.
So now, when you look back at your entire journey, McDonald's All-American, NCAA champion, WNBA veteran, and now a WNBA head coach, and even like an NBA coach as well, what legacy do you hope to leave behind?
Uh, I just hope that I continue to inspire the people from my city, to know that my journey was not at all easy, to know that there were many challenges, and that as long as you continue to put your head down and work and do things the right way and treat people the right way, you'll always have an opportunity to be great.
100%. Coach Turner, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity today, and I wish you the best of luck this season.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to Gen Z Hoops. Make sure to follow, like, and subscribe on Instagram, LinkedIn, and all major social media platforms at Gen Z Hoops. You can tune in and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and every other podcast platform on the planet. Get ready for the next episode.